Hello, it's Nancy Mazo at notablynancy@gmail.com, here today with a video on how to effectively teach back-to-back classes for VIPKid. Okay, the first thing I want to share with you is teaching back-to-back classes is like running a marathon. It's a process. You have to train for it. Remember that your goal is to build a regular student base. You want to build up a base of regular students that want to book with you over and over again. What I would suggest to begin, if you have not taught back-to-back classes before, is to start out with 2 in a row and a break, 2 in a row and a break. What I mean by this, and I'll show you what I do, I have my schedule written down of what class I teach the student, and what I do when I have back-to-back classes is I have here an 8 o'clock, an 8:30, and I highlight it with a yellow marker. Okay, this reminds me that I have 2 in a row. I took a break here, and at 9:30 I have another 2. Okay, 9:30 and 10. So here I have 8:30. I finish at 9. I have a half an hour break, and then from 9:30 to 10 I have 2 more. Okay, I've been at VIPKid for over 2 years. Okay, so I have had days where I've taught 8 and 10 back-to-back classes in a row. But I didn't start out that way, and I wouldn't recommend it. I don't always do it now. It's not the way that I really enjoy teaching. So as I said, you want to build up your back-to-back teaching muscles and teach in a way that you're comfortable and that you're still enjoying it and that you're doing a great job, because you want parents to rebook their children with you. You're working on regular students. Okay, before I start with my tips, I want to talk about number one no-no that I've seen, and I'm telling you as a fellow teacher that cares about your success, do not do this. Okay, I have seen where teachers open up, especially beginning teachers, they haven't had very many bookings yet, and they say, you know what, I'm going to open up my whole schedule and I'm sure everything won't book, and I'll just kind of go with the flow and see what happens. Please, please, please be kind to yourself. Don't do that, because if you open them up, you have to be ready that they may book, and they may book 8 and 10 classes in a row. Now, on some of the Facebook groups I'm in, I've seen new teachers writing in like, help, help, what do I do now? I opened up all my slots and they booked. And how am I going to teach 7 or 8 classes in a row? If that happens, and it does, you're sabotaging yourself. You haven't set yourself up for success, because teaching in a frazzled way or a tired way or an exhausted way or a nervous way is not what parents want to rebook. Okay, so don't set yourself up for that. Okay, number 2, no, and then we'll get to the tips. This is another no that has really big negative results. Okay, it's the night before, you're ready to go to sleep, and you see that a lot of your spots have not booked. So you put them on short notice. Okay, but your alarm didn't go off, you didn't realize it was going to book, I don't know what, I don't know who. That ends up being a teacher no-show. And that's not how you're going to build up your regular student base. What I would suggest instead is leave your spots alone. Okay, even though they haven't booked, do not put them on short notice. The next morning when you're up and you have your makeup on if you use it, and you're dressed and you're ready and you're sitting at your computer ready for your first class, that's the time to put the other ones on short notice. You're already ready. You can be watching them. Okay, and then you can you're there. You haven't missed anything. That's my recommendation. Now let's get to the tips. Okay, number one, make sure that you open a schedule so that you have the time and the energy and the excitement and the enthusiasm to do your best job. Okay, and what that schedule is for you is not the same as what that schedule is for anyone else. Okay, and I think it's so important in the long run, if you use the marathon analogy, to think about what schedule is going to work for you, what's comfortable, what fits into your life balance of all the different things that you have on tap in your life so that your teaching stays enjoyable. And what your schedule is like nobody else's schedule. Think about what's realistic for you, and I would say even at the beginning a little bit to under schedule. Okay, you can always open up short notice. I know it's so tempting because you go out onto Facebook and see, these people who are like teaching hundreds of classes a week, and you may work up to that and you may be comfortable with it, but I don't think you should feel a stress or a pressure like to keep up with that, because really that's not what this is about. This is about you and your career and your business and what works for you. And everybody has different outside obligations. Okay, my next tip is don't overdo it, because overdoing it results in, number one, you lose your voice, or number two, you end up getting sick. And if you think of in the long term, what have you really accomplished by that? You taught a massive number of classes for 2 weeks and you think that you're, bringing in the money or whatever, but if you get sick from it, or if you lose your voice from it, or if you're just like in a bad mood from it because it's too much, then it's not building your business in a rational way that can work for you and make this an enjoyable career over the long term. Okay, I want to go over 3 effective note-taking tips for teaching back-to-back classes. Number one, when you're teaching back-to-back classes, it is not realistic to think that you will remember the feedback that you want to write for every student after 5 or 6 classes and you come back to it. Okay, so what I would suggest, number one, if you're an adequate typist, open up your feedback box next to the lesson. And not that you're writing feedback now, but you just want to write yourself a few words, a few phrases that are going to help you remember what you wanted to say. Maybe you want to talk about what you want the child to work on at home. Maybe you want to say a few things of important things that happened in class, like, oh, it was so nice when Emily showed me her butterfly. Have those things because they're hard to remember, and after 4 or 5 or however many classes, all the classes seem to kind of mesh into each other, and it's hard to like pull that information out. Now, if you're not such a great typist, or that seems like it would be difficult for you, then another suggestion I have is that if you keep a notebook, just very simply write the time, the student's name next to it, and a few little phrases to help to jog your memory. What reward did you use? What do you want to communicate? Now, if you use this method, it's really important to practice it, because what you will need to do is like take a pencil, and you can glance down for a minute at your notebook, but once you've glanced down and kind of see the line that you're going to write it on, you have to be looking at the camera and engaging with the student. Otherwise, if you are looking down for too long of a time, the student and their parents have no idea what you're doing. They don't know if you're texting on your phone, but it's really not easy and almost impossible to engage if you don't have the eye contact with the student. If neither of those ideas resonate with you, my third idea is that you do have 5 minutes between classes if you end them on time, which in back-to-back it's really effective if you can. And you can use your cell phone to just say a few voice-to-text messages to yourself that you want to remember for each feedback. So I want to wish you luck with the back-to-back classes. If you have any questions or anything wasn't clear to you, please drop me an email at notablynancy@gmail.com. I will write you back. I am a mentor of new teachers in the real classroom, so it's something that I do and that I love to do, and I love to help. Don't think you're writing an email and you won't hear from me, because you will. Also, if there are any videos that you wish that you had or you would like more information on, write me. It could be that I'll use it for a suggestion. And the reason I do this is because when I started VIPKid 2.5 years ago, there were a few videos, but there were nowhere near the videos or the information that's out there. And I really feel like in my 2 years, over 2 years that I've been teaching for VIPKid, one of the things I love to do is share with and support other teachers who are going through the process, and any systems I've developed or any way I can help you out. I really love to share that with you. Okay, next week's video is going to be a tour of my tiny classroom. I call it the tiny classroom with the big results. I live overseas and I don't have the kind of space that we have. The houses are not built on an American space scale, so I am really teaching in a very tiny space. And if you're a teacher, a person who says, wow, I'd really love to have an ESL teaching career, but like, where am I going to put this? Okay, I want you to see my classroom. You won't believe how small it is, how effective it is, and I want to share that with you next week. Okay, if you found this content helpful, please subscribe to my channel. Have a great week, happy teaching, and see you again next time. Have a good one. Bye.